You are at Lake Rant, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Armin Stein, who says, rant about Jeff Rosenstock and or his album Post. Jeff Rosenstock is a phenomenal punk rock, elements of ska rock artist. He's been around for a long time. He has a label called Bomb the Music Industry. He was a part of a different band. I don't know that much about his history, honestly. I first discovered him because of the album We Cool, after Anthony Fantano reviewed it. I love that album. The more I listened to it, the more into it I got. It's just a bunch of really just fucking solidly written songs, each with its own distinct style and tone, while all having that, punk rock, little bits of folk and ska mixed in vibe to it. But most of the songs are very depressing. They're mostly about just kind of, aging and reflecting on yourself and the problems in your life as a lonely drunkard. I related to it a lot for a while. The album he did after that, Worry, I ended up eventually kind of loving even more. Because even though it's not as solid in terms of like having just a bunch of amazing songs, as an album experience, I think it's even better. The second half of the album is like 10 super short tracks that all go directly into each other and are all just great, and it's a great, overall package. And then you've also got a couple of great singles on there as well, between Wave Goodnight to Me and Festival Song. Just all around solid fucking album. Again, pretty depressing, but whereas We Cool was more self-destructive and reflective, Worry is interesting because it has more to do with the perils of being broke in New York. There's a lot of theming around people who can't afford rent, or who are being, held down by the landlords and the people in charge of their lives, and sort of all of this while being constantly surrounded and inundated with advertising, choking the skyline, and just lots of themes about that kind of stuff, which I think is taken even to another level on the album Post, which is the one you actually asked me to talk about. And Post, I have not listened to nearly as much as the other two. I was not feeling it the same way. I appreciate its like more electronic, heavier kind of sound. And there's a couple of like more experimental, longer tracks on there, which I do think are good. It basically was like the midsection of the album that I didn't find as interesting as, his previous works had been. And I guess it was an album that just had a vibe that didn't give me an immediate sense of like when to listen to it. Like, I tend to listen to music in a very mood-based kind of way. It's like, oh, I feel like this, let me play some music that feels like that. And it's funny because I actually haven't been listening to Jeff Rosenstock as much lately as I had been. Like, around the time when May and I first started dating, not only was I heavily into his music around that time, but I introduced her to it, and she really liked it, and so we would listen to his albums a lot together. But, like, as time went on and, our relationship sort of made us less depressed, it became that kind of depressing, wallowing music, it's not even so much that it drags me down as that I feel sorry for it. It's like I listen to this music and I think, oh man, I would hate to still be feeling this way or still be in some of these positions, And I could also say I have some criticisms, of just like the way Jeff, like the characters presented in the songs at the very least. But, it's still interesting work that I like returning to, but Post just didn't do as much for me. It was a shorter album, didn't have as many noteworthy tracks, though it did have, like, if I remember correctly, the opening song is like 6 or 7 minutes long, and it's like this big epic that, is almost in the vein of, like, the epic Green Day songs, which, were always my favorite part of American Idiot, is, like, Jesus of Suburbia and Homecoming or whatever. And if you wanted, like, a version of that that's just way better in every way, Jeff Rosenstock provides that, on the second half of, just in general, his whole sound is, like, if you wanted to enjoy a version of American Idiot that had way more artistic merit and songwriting capabilities and more just better song construction, Jeff Rosenstock would be a good place to turn. But yeah, I love his music. Hope he puts out another album sometime. I mean, Post came out, I think, January 1st, 2018 or something like that. So we're coming up on 2 years since the last album. He had been releasing them almost year after year. So I'm really curious when we're gonna get it, when he's gonna show up again. I mean, he's done production for a bunch of other albums as well, and his production is great. I think he has probably the best sound in the genre that he performs. You know, I think he also produced. I don't know if he did the latest Pup album, but he produced the Pup album that has DVP and If This Tour Doesn't Kill You, Then I Will on it, and those songs are also amazing. So yeah, would love some more Jeff Rosenstock. But I don't know if I'll be in the correct mind space to even fully appreciate it, you know, when the time comes. But we'll see.